For decades, independent UFO researchers, investigators, people with stories, whatever, and whatever you think of all of that, have been trying to get major media coverage. Please, please. Pentagon says we know nothing. CIA says we have nothing. And then all of a sudden, through To the Stars Academy, Luis Elizondo has a direct pipeline into the New York Times and therefore every major press outlet in the world. Jon Rappoport here, sitting in for Alex in the fourth hour on INFOWARS. Yeah, big stories in 2017. So let me begin with one of the stranger stories which just broke. UFO disclosure. Right. I'm sure many of you have been getting at least a piece of this story. And it kind of starts with Tom DeLonge, a famous musician, Blink 182. And all of a sudden, he has announced that he has a new venture called To the Stars Academy. Not exactly sure what that's going to be, but it has something to do with UFO information, disclosure, research, entertainment, perhaps merchandising, and so on and so forth. So you would think, okay, great, well, whatever. But no, because one of his lead collaborators, not just a momentary acquaintance, but one of his lead collaborators is a guy named Luis Elizondo, who was the Pentagon chief of a secret program, now admitted in the press all over the world, from 2007 to 2012, and it's actually still going on. Elizondo is not there anymore, to study and explore UFO activity, and Elizondo is now actually the point man for the media, starting with the New York Times. So for decades, independent UFO researchers, investigators, people with stories, whatever, and whatever you think of all of that, have been trying to get major media coverage. Please, please. Pentagon says we know nothing. CIA says we have nothing. And then all of a sudden, through To the Stars Academy, Luis Elizondo has a direct pipeline into the New York Times and therefore every major press outlet in the world to talk about this Pentagon program that nobody heard of before to study and explore UFO activity. And Elizondo is also bringing with him the video, which you've probably seen by now, 2004 off San Diego, fighter jets, a hovering, twisting, tic-tac, something or other, UFO, unidentified flying object in the sky, which then apparently whisks off at very high speed. And then also a statement from Elizondo that the Pentagon has, or actually a contractor has in Las Vegas named Bob Bigelow, material from UFOs, which is being analyzed, but the sense is nobody can figure out what these metals are made of.
Commander David Fravor's colleagues made fun of him after learning he
overnight. Gigantic. So what I decided to do was just to go to the Stars Academy website and see what's cooking there, because Tom DeLonge has a team around him of people. Again, not just occasional drop-in guests, but this is the team. Now, just check this out. Screw your brain in real tight. Jim Semovan. And I'm looking at my text here so I get this right. These are all from quotes, by the way. Retired from the Central Intelligence Agency's Directorate of Operations after 25 years as an operations officer overseas and domestically. Hal Puthoff, a physicist, has done research at the National Security Agency, NSA, among other places, regularly advises the Department of Defense and intelligence communities. And Luis Elizondo, the guy I just mentioned, now listen to this, because I'm going to read you, this is a very interesting quote. A career intelligence officer whose experience includes working with the U.S. Army, the Department of Defense, the National Counterintelligence Executive, and the Director of National Intelligence. As a former special agent in charge, Luis conducted and supervised highly sensitive espionage and terrorism investigations around the world. As an intelligence case officer, he ran clandestine source operations throughout Latin America and the Middle East, end quote. Oh, yeah. Chris Mellon served 20 years in the federal government, including as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence in the Clinton and Bush administrations. Paul Rapp. Past honors include a certificate of commendation from the CIA for significant contributions to the mission of the Office of Research and Development. Now, as an aside, I can tell you that that office, the ORD, was precisely where the CIA's MKUltra mind control program secretly was shifted in 1962 after it supposedly ended. Very good source on that. Another guy on Tom DeLonge's team, Norm Kahn, 30-year career with the CIA. Getting the picture here? Now, we're supposed to believe that whatever you think about UFOs, and they're real, they're not, they're aliens, it's an operation, the black budget, it's intelligence community disinformation, whatever. Here is suddenly an organization that has a direct pipeline to the New York Times and every press outlet in the world with a story about UFO revelations. This has never happened before. The New York Times is reporting all this straight ahead. Here it is. And it's to the Stars Academy. Now, I'll take you one layer deeper on this, because this is very interesting. On a few of these big names that I just went over, and a few others who are on the team at To the Stars Academy, Dr. Norm Kahn, well, he also had a career with the CIA that culminated, I'm quoting now, in his development and direction of the intelligence community's counter-biological weapons program. Dr. Rapp, who I mentioned, professor of military and emergency medicine. Now, another advisor to the Academy to the Stars, Dr. Gary Nolan, professor in the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at Stanford. Holds a BS in genetics, PhD in genetics. And Luis Elizondo, the CIA guy that I just mentioned, the man who has the direct pipeline to the New York Times, quote, his academic background includes microbiology, immunology, and parasitology, with research experience in tropical diseases. So I ask you, aside from all the CIA spooks and military intelligence and Pentagon people on this team, why are there medical players, significant medical players? And I will give you my take on this, because we could be seeing an op, a covert psyop, to say viruses are coming in from space. They've always come in from space, and now we have to pay attention to them, particularly with some revelations that we may not be alone in the universe, and who knows what our enemies out there could be sending to us, et cetera, et cetera. Vaccines, we need all kinds of vaccines against who knows what. There's money here, medical contracts. Getting the picture? I will continue this very weird and interesting story after the break.
Climb to the top of the food chain with Alpha Power by INFOWARS Life. for those who want to increase testosterone and energy levels. Most men know that testosterone levels begin to decline starting around 30 at a rate of about 1 to 2% per year. This drop can show signs such as fatigue, low energy, low sex drive, and muscle loss. Alpha Power is packed with some of the most potent and clinically tested ingredients on the market. The secret is in the synergistic blend of ancient ingredients that have been concentrated into their most potent forms, including Uricoma longifolia, originally from Malaysia, maca root from Peru, horny goatweed from China, and tribulus from India. Reach your alpha male potential with Alpha Power. Get Alpha Power now at 50% off and secure your bottle today.